Hey Aries, this is Michael with your June 2022 reading. I do hope that this finds you well and in good spirits. I apologize, it's coming to you so late. I've had no shortage of technical issues on my end here, kind of to be expected with Mercury retrograde. Mercury has actually gone direct. Mercury went direct on the 3rd, and Saturn is going retrograde on the 4th. So by the time you are watching this, we have kind of this interesting moment right now collectively where there is kind of breaking points. There are these moments where it's like, I can't continue doing things the way I've been doing them. And the beautiful thing about Saturn going retrograde, and when I'm talking about retrogrades, it's when these planets appear to be moving backwards. And so the energy of these planets kind of shifts, so we have more of an inward focus on their themes. And with Saturn, it's all about discipline and focus and time and lessons. And when Saturn goes retrograde, there's kind of this lifting of a pressure in a way. But right as everything is kind of shifting, we're in this gear shift. The way that manifests for us humans very often looks like a breaking point. It very often looks like something, as I was describing, I can no longer do things the way I've been doing them. I'm done with this. I need to focus on what matters. And for you, this is actually really focusing on your social networks, on friends, and actually your hopes and ideals. Aquarius is kind of an idealistic sign for you, Aries, especially if you are an Aries rising. So for the past energy, I actually have all of your cards on the table already pulled. We have the Two of Wands in reverse. And this to me suggests that there has been a lack of clarity or needing to go back to the drawing board, not being sure which decision to make if you've had to make a decision in some way. I do feel like something has started to grow, though, here for you, too. With this Ace of Pentacles, maybe a new opportunity, a fresh start, a new beginning. This could be a new job, a move. The Ace of Pentacles really does indicate something physically in our life changing or a new beginning happening in our kind of daily life. So there's some sort of new beginning here that's happened. Maybe there is something about where do I invest my energy, where do I invest my time with the Two of Wands in reverse. But honestly, Aries, I feel like whatever it is that's happening for you this month, it kind of feels like it's not necessarily gonna make a whole lot of sense. You might be getting some answers with the Eight of Wands, especially at the start of this month, because we had a new moon right at the end of May, on May 30th in Gemini. And that new moon right there can start to give us answers. And then when Mercury goes direct, which happens on the 3rd, that's this time of kind of catching up and insights, answers, things kind of blowing up in your face, to be honest. In some ways, it's almost the hardest part of the retrograde, or it can be. It can be. With the Eight of Wands, you're getting clarity, you're getting messages, you're getting something here, some sort of answer. But with the Three of Wands in reverse, it doesn't actually solve the big question, which is kind of interesting. There's a lot happening in June. We are in Gemini season at the start of June. We have a lot of things shifting with Mercury and Saturn. We also have a full moon in Sagittarius. There could actually be some travel or something changing with some journey that you have been on. This can also include things like higher education or spirituality, anything that helps us see things from a higher perspective. I feel like there is a shift that's happening for you this month, Aries. And it's not very clear where it's leading you right now. But it's leading to your happiness with the Ten of Cups. And so if there is something here in your life this month where you feel like you should just take an opportunity or do something, even if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, or even if you're not really sure where it's going to lead you, like long term. I think it's still important for your happiness and for your soul that you do this with the Ten of Cups. I'm going to pull some cards to clarify this energy. And we do actually have some things interesting, right as I was going to talk about this. The Five of Pentacles and the Sun. I was going to say this can be a bit of a challenging month for you. Only because we have Chiron in your sign, the Wounded Healer or the Wounded Warrior. Chiron is an asteroid, for those of you who aren't familiar. And Chiron is forming a conjunction. It's coming together with your ruling planet Mars. They will be in the same exact spot in Aries. And you could be feeling very exposed with the Sun and the Five of Pentacles. Like something could be very, very clear. And it might feel like your own hardship is being brought into the spotlight. And that might not feel very comfortable. However, Chiron, being the wounded healer, can bring healing if we are willing to work with this energy. And sometimes it kind of almost depends on the sign that Chiron is in. I've heard Chiron be called the wounded warrior. I've always called it the wounded healer. Chiron in mythology was a centaur who, kind of in a very abridged version of the myth, ended up being poisoned by a poison that he created, and was racked with pain as a result of this. Chiron was also an unusual centaur in that he had human legs for his front half, and then kind of the horse legs for the rear. He had like a horse bottom still, but he had human legs in the front. So he always had this sort of difference. And Chiron, to me, in astrology, especially in someone's birth chart, really represents that sort of wound, or that hypervigilance, almost like a paranoia, where that area of our chart is always something we can be a little self-conscious about. And so with Chiron in your sign being activated by Mars, especially, Mars is that warrior energy. It is that drive, that passion. Really could be making this energy that is very, very pointed. And you might feel reactive with this energy. You might want to hide from this light that is being cast on you. But the Five of Wands is also an interesting card too. And the way I actually feel called to read it is kind of with both perspectives that this card can be read. Sometimes people see these two people as being turned away by the church. They are not receiving help from an organization that should be helping them. And sort of the silver lining there is that, well, at least they have each other. Some other people will read this as these two people are within help. Help is within reach with the Five of Pentacles here, even though they're going through a really hard time. They have each other and they have support. And I almost think there's this larger question for you, Aries, especially this month relative to your friends and your social groups. Are these people going to be able to help me or not? And you might turn away help because you're assuming that people won't be able to help you. And that could be something that's coming up with Chiron in your sign right at the middle of this month. And I mean, Chiron will be in your sign for quite some time still, but it's being very activated this month. These themes are really coming forward. And I believe that the Sun in Gemini is also going to be activating Chiron in Aries as well, kind of at a 60-degree angle that's happening on the 6th. So this could really be playing out, especially in the first half of June for you. Nine of Swords in reverse. I feel like some of you do need to be open to asking for help. I almost wonder if this thing that you're just supposed to do and jump into is actually reaching out for help. The Nine of Swords upright often indicates that things are challenging in the sense there's a lot of anxiety. There could be anxiety, depression, sleeplessness, insomnia in some cases. When I see this card in the reverse, though, it's almost like it's not just a matter of waking up from a bad dream anymore. It's like you might actually need to talk some things out with someone, especially if there is a Leo in your life or someone who has Leo placements. That person might be able to help you. I think maybe part of this Saturn retrograde is actually you reaching out for support from other people. What else do we have for you? Three of Cups in reverse, and maybe even feeling like, who are my friends? Who are my people? And I think that's kind of why on some level, Aries, when I'm talking about the Five of Pentacles here being like, do you think that help is within reach or not? How are you interpreting the situation you're in? I'm going to be honest, it feels like you're telling yourself that you don't have anybody, or you might feel that way, but you might need to reach out to them. Don't wait for someone to offer you help this month. You're going to have to initiate that, to be honest. Ooh. Ten of Wands. Yeah, you've been carrying a lot of burdens or doing a lot of things by yourself. How can you ask others for support? And maybe you don't even know how you can do that. Maybe you're hearing me say all these things and it's like, well, no one can help me with this. But I do think you need to talk things out with someone, whether that's a therapist or a friend, or someone who's just able to understand you. And I think some of you have been afraid to address certain psychological wounds or emotions, because sometimes when you have a light shined on them or you have focus on them, it brings up this pain or this shame. And in not wanting to feel that shame or that vulnerability, you keep yourself in that energy. But then we do have a Ten of Cups here. There is connection in the future. There is this happiness that involves other people. And the way the Ten of Cups can manifest for an individual is really going to depend. A lot of people will call this your happily ever after, but in this way, I almost think the Ten of Cups is a little bit too idealistic. It's almost like, what is our image of that happiness? What does happiness itself look like to us? Because we have like the spouse, the kids, the house, the land, the rainbow here. And even with this happiness that you're coming into, there was a storm before you were able to get to this point. And sometimes when I think of the Ten of Cups, it's very much a card about a specific moment. It's like a snapshot. It's almost like, this is the image that we put on social media, right? You know, the cute family photos, the beautiful house, the beautiful day, and we only see so much of that person's life. Like someone on social media could present this beautiful, perfect, idyllic seeming life, but this card is a snapshot. The weather will change. The kids are going to grow up. The seasons will change. And it's kind of accepting that happiness is about appreciating the moment and the good moments when they come. And I do feel like there is still this element for you, Aries, where I feel like you are coming into something that's very beautiful and finding a sense of home or a sense of community or a sense of connection. But things are really moving around and shifting quite a bit for you. And maybe with this full moon in Sagittarius, there could quite literally be some travel. Or if you have been traveling, maybe you are returning home. And especially with this new moon in Cancer at the end of this month, Cancer represents your 4th house, the house of family, of home, of roots. It feels like it's really important for you to come back into a foundation, or come back to a place or a part of yourself that helps you feel connected. And with Mars in your sign this month, especially, your ruling planet no less, it's like you're the one who's really initiating things here. And it's like if you're waiting for answers to come, if you're waiting for clarity to come, you might get some messages, you might get some clarity, but it's not going to be like a burning bush moment necessarily either. It feels like with the astrology in your sign right now, it's very much focused on you taking charge, taking the lead, prioritizing what really, really matters. Tell me more about this 10 of Cups. We have the 7 of Wands and the Devil. I think part of the reason it might be hard for you to connect is that in the past you've had to defend yourself from really toxic energy or really controlling energy. And maybe some of the relationships you were in weren't actually good for yourself. Maybe you were enabled in some way. Sorry, the lighting keeps coming in and out here. Maybe these connections, it's almost like you had to pull your energy away from people because they were kind of bringing out not great habits in you, especially if this is involving addiction or emotions, or even focus on material things. And so I think the quality of the people that you are connecting with is really, really important this month, Aries. And it's funny that the light kind of keeps coming in and out. I know it's just sort of that time of day too, and not the best lighting situation, to be honest here. But it's just that contrast between like light and dark, things that are in the dark coming to light. That's something I'm very much seeing for you, but that's part of the healing, that's part of the process, that's part of the transformation that you want to have happen. I'm going to pull an animal card for you too. And I feel like Neptune is going retrograde at the end of this month as well. And when Neptune goes retrograde, it is sort of this clarity that can come. Neptune is in Pisces. Again, there's a lot of planets kind of in their signs of rulership this month. We have Mars in your sign, we have Venus in Taurus, we have Mercury in Gemini, we have a new moon in Cancer, we have Neptune in Pisces. There are a lot of things that are just kind of coming back into alignment this month, naturally. Starfish is coming up, and this is interesting because, again, this is like the quality of your friendships, the quality of the people that you have. If you feel like you don't have support in your friendships that you have with people, you may need to reassess the quality of these people's characters and if they're really people who can actually help you grow. And then the Camel card is showing up. There is this finding water in fire, persevering through the desert. I feel like, yeah, there was something about like you moving through this uncertainty or this kind of inhospitable place with what you have. With the water, with the wisdom, with the emotions, the growth that you've attained, it's already with you. That's with you still. And that's going to be helping you. And it's helping you potentially move. Some of you could be moving this month too, especially with the Sagittarius full moon and the new moon in Cancer here. I could see those things kind of leading to you moving quite far, actually. Or returning home. And there will be healing this month, but there's a lot of shadow work. There's a lot of things that are coming up right now that are going to help you understand why you may not feel as connected to other people as you would like to be. And I think those are all the messages that I have for you this month, Aries. I hope that this was helpful. If it was, definitely hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't. It does help this channel grow, and it helps me continue putting out these messages for all of you. And again, all of my links are in the description box down below if you'd like a reading or Reiki session with me. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, Aries.